we will be calling Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Group. Let us give them a big round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rani. I am from class 9, roll number 28. Today, I will be making a presentation on one of the greatest freedom fighters, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. On the 31st of October, 1875, one of the greatest men India has ever seen was born. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was born in Nadia, Gujarat, into a humble farmer's family. His birth anniversary is now being observed as Rashtriya Ekta Divas, or National Unity Day. In the initial stages of the freedom movement, Sardar Patel was neither keen on the active politics, nor was he interested in the principles of Mahatma Gandhi. However, the meeting with Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi fundamentally changed his life. Patel joined the Congress and became the secretary of the Gujarat Sabha, which later became the Congress stronghold. Sardar Patel also joined Mahatma Gandhi on several movements as well. Patel worked extensively against alcohol consumption, untouchability, caste discrimination, and for women emancipation, meaning freeing women from the control of another in Gujarat and outside. Sardar Patel's most everlasting legacy was that he was responsible for the accession of 565 princely states into the Union of India. Despite his failing health and age, he never lost sight of the larger purpose of creating United India. Sardar Patel worked tirelessly to build a consensus with the princely states and stitch them along with the British Union territory. Sardar Patel also prevented the balkanization, meaning breaking down of India. Sardar Patel was of the opinion that we will not have independent India if we do not have good all-Indian service. Patel was clearly conscious of the fact that India needed a steel frame for its civil, military, and administrative bureaucracy. His faith in institutional mechanisms, like having an organized command-based army and a systemized bureaucracy, proved to be a blessing. However, every human born is deemed to die, and this tragedy of death has also befallen one of the greatest men India has ever seen. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel has left us on this earth on the 15th of December 1950. His death was an inevitable heart attack. Patel was a selfless leader who placed the country's interest above everything else and shaped India's destiny with a single-minded devotion. He transformed his dream of independent, united India into existence, which we, the Indians, are living as of today. The invaluable contribution of Sardar Patel in building a modern and unified India needs to be remembered by every Indian as the country marches ahead as one of the largest economies in the world. One of his famous slogans was,
भारत ની એકતા માટે કામ કરો,
meaning work for the unity of India. One of Sardar Patel's most famous quote is, work is worship, but laughter is life. Anyone who takes life too seriously must prepare himself for a miserable existence. Anyone who greets joys and sorrows with equal facility can really get the best of life. His body may have already perished, and his flesh might already be one with the earth. However, for you and me, us, the Indian, he will always stay in our heart, and we shall always remember him as the Iron Man of India. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the next group is Mahatma Gandhi group. Let's give them a round of applause.
Right, folks, let's get started. My name is Subhash, and I'm from class 9, and my roll number is 9. Today, as you can see, we are going to have a presentation on this man. From bottom to top, you can see that it's very accurate to true life model, chef's kiss. His name is Mahatma Gandhi. You may have heard of it. He's a prominent member of the independence movement during the 80s to the 90s. He was one of the most prominent figures during those times. His actual name is Mohandas Karmachandra Gandhi, meaning the word Mahatma was given to him back in South Africa, meaning great soul and venerable. Gandhi was born on the 2nd of October 1869 in Bahadar, present-day Gujarat. During his childhood, but he was taught by his mother to value the principles of ethical, compassion, and his traditions, rituals, and culture. Now, in his education field, Gandhi was an average student with winning some awards and having a bad handwriting. Anyways, because of his search for knowledge, he eventually set voyage to London. Now, in London, this allowed him to expand his mind, and because now we can see what other people's opinions, their ideas, ideologies, and all those things were about. Now, eventually in April 1893, at the age of 23, Gandhi set voyage to South Africa, which said racist to any black color. Any color of his heritage, any black color, America, really. Nice. Now, Gandhi, of course, he hold on one second.
You can react. It's allowed. You don't need to say
Yeah, of course, he was discriminated upon because of his color, heritage, and all that stuff. And eventually, in 1915, he eventually went back to India, and this was when he was most popular because of his independence movement that he went in. He protested against the rich unjust laws, and also he was also active in social reform, and also wanted more efficiency by the Indians, and rather than using British-made goods. But unfortunately, in 30 October 1948, he gets shot 3 times by the Hindu nationalists, and his death was mourned by the country very much. His legacy is very significant as he influenced people like Martin Luther King Jr. in the United States of America, and to continue his civil rights movement. Now, in the current times of India, India is currently having social economic issues, political division, religion division, and many more. and that's so sponsored by Sir Party in our central government. BJP. Now, Mahatma Gandhi's slogan was "Do or die." Either you die with your country, live free with your flag, or see it collapse under your eyes. Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. My name is Rani and I am from class 9, roll number 17. And I will be having a presentation on the topic of her girl, Rani Lakshmibai. Rani Lakshmibai was born in November 19, 1828, and she died in June 17, 1858. She was named Mani Karnika Tambe, which is her original name. But at the age of 14, she was married to Maharaja of Jhansi, Gandhidhar Rao, in 1842, and then she was called Rani Lakshmibai. She was the queen of Maratha ruled lordly state of Jhansi. She is known as the Great Patriot, and she was the queen, and she was one of the prominent figures of the Indian revolt in 1857, and she is an icon of resistance against the British India. She is known for her extraordinary bravery. Rani Lakshmibai was an important name in the freedom struggle against the British. When the British forces under Sir Hugh Henry Rose surrounded the Jhansi fort with the intention of capturing it, Rani Lakshmibai refused to cede Jhansi to the British. She declared, "We are fighting for independence. In the words of Lord Krishna, if we are victorious, we will enjoy the fruits of victory. If we are defeated and killed on the battlefield, we will surely get eternal glory and salvation." A fierce battle raged where Rani led her army of men and women bravely against the British. She offered stiff resistance in the invading forces, although her troops were overpowered by the British, and despite their courageous fighting, Jhansi lost the battle. But Lakshmibai said, "Men apni Jhansi nahi dongi," which translates to, "I shall not surrender my Jhansi." As she managed to escape the fort, she headed east and decamped to Kalki, where another rebel leader, Tante Tobe, was joined her. They managed to occupy Kalki, but the British troops attacked the town on May 22nd, 1858. Lakshmibai led the Indian troops against the British, but could not make headway. Along with Tante Tobe and other rebel soldiers, they fled to Gwalior and joined the other Indian forces. They were successful in occupying Gwalior without much combat and led a successful assault on the city fortress of Gwalior, seizing its treasury and arsenal. However, Lakshmibai expected an attack by the British in Gwalior, but failed to convince the other Indian leaders to prepare for a defense. Lakshmibai's anticipation proved right. When the British forces under Rose made a successful attack on Gwalior after capturing Bar on June 16, 1858. Lakshmibai led a fierce battle against the squadron of the King's Royal Irish, which is the 18th Hussars under the command of Captain Haniage in Kodaski Sarai, close to Poolbah, Gwalior on June 17, 1858. According to some sources, it is mentioned that Rani wore an attire of cavalry leader as she fought fiercely. When she got severely wounded, she asked a permit to burn her body so that the British could not capture it. Following her death, she was cremated by a few local people. According to Rose, the remains of Lakshmibai were interred under a tamarind tree under the rock of Gwalior with a great ceremony. Sir Hugh Henry Rose commented, "Remarkable for her beauty, cleverness, and perseverance, she had been the most dangerous of all the rebel leaders, the best and bravest of all." She will forever be remembered as a great martyr who gave her life for freedom. She became a symbol of resistance against the British rule for leading nationalities in India, and it is a symbol of courage, heroism, and female power. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and happy Independence Day. Today, I'm going to talk about a great freedom fighter who fought for our freedom today so that we can celebrate Independence Day. His name is Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. He was born on 23rd January 1897, and although he respected Gandhiji, but he didn't support his way of fighting for the freedom. So he secretly went to Germany and raised Indian National Army (INA), also known as Azad Hind Fauj. And he is a great freedom fighter, not just a freedom fighter, he is also a great leader. He was given the title Netaji, meaning respected leaders, by the Indian leader. From the Indian soldiers, Indian leader. His leadership skills were appealing and motivated many people to join Indian freedom struggle. Though his wartime alliance with Germany left his decisive wings by military failure, he is still remembered as one of the most prominent freedom fighters and also one of the most respected leaders these days. And one of his famous slogans was,
Give me blood and I shall give you freedom.
terrifying, sounds terrifying, but today we have the freedom and we can celebrate. And his other slogan was, freedom is not given, it is taken. And they do have fight for the freedoms and they have taken it. We were not given the freedom, but we fight for it. And so today we can fight. And for today, we don't have to fight for the freedom anymore, but celebrate it happily. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sardar, and today I'm going to represent the group Jawaharlal Nehru. And next to me here is our model. He's basically the living embodiment of Jawaharlal Nehru with all the accessories. And I want to address our project. This picture of Jawaharlal Nehru was written by this guy, Jonathan. And now I want to move on to the main part of the presentation. Jawaharlal Nehru was born in 14 November 1889. His father was Motilal Nehru, who was a prominent lawyer and Indian nationalist, due to which Jawaharlal Nehru studied in England. Jawaharlal Nehru was one of the freedom fighters during the 1930s and 1940s. He was an anti-colonial nationalist and also an author. And most of his books were written during his time in prison. And due to this authorship, the honorific name Pandit, P-A-L-D-I-T, is commonly added to his before his name. So you could say his full name was basically Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. His wife was Kumara Nehru, and his daughter was Indira Gandhi, most famously known for being the first female Prime Minister of India. As Jawaharlal Nehru reached the end of his life, his health started to decline. And on 27th May 1964, he tragically passed away at the age of 74 due to heart attack. His works will always shine throughout the history of India, and India is what it is today because of his works. And now, for his famous slogan, I would like to call upon Jawaharlal Nehru to lead us with it. And my slogan is, laziness is harmful to oneself. Thank you.
The last group, let's do Rafili and his group. Okay, let's give them a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Esther Badesha-Tweet.com, and I am going to represent for the Vietnamese group. First of all, Happy Independence Day to you all, and we pay our deepest condolence to the families of our respected freedom fighters. Gaidinliu was the daughter of one of the most famous king, Vallabhbhai. Gaidinliu, after the death of her husband in the late 19th century, became the first female chief in the history of Mizoram, and was the leader of the southern Mizo community close to Natyal. Gaidinliu followed her father and husband's footsteps in the position of the British ruler in Mizoram. Gaidinliu believed that it was her duty to protect her people and her land. She had said to other chiefs who had surrendered to the British, "Even if you all surrendered, I am here, the daughter of Vallabhbhai, the great ruler of Lord, who will never surrender to foreign rulers." When the British official came to our village to collect excess laborers, she informed them that it is her village and she would not let any intruders take third in controlling of her country, her village. Whenever the British called a chief meeting, she refused and said, "Let them be prince and princess in their own land. This is our land since the time of our ancestors. They should not come and trouble us." Due to her not following and disagreeing with the British colonial rule, she was imprisoned in 1893 and was detained in Bumulay, and was transferred to a jail in Rangamati, Chittagong Hill Track on 8 April 1894, for almost 2 years in an undivided India. Rani Gaidinliu died in prison on January 3rd, 1895 at the age of 83. Even though Gaidinliu's movement was short-lived, the movement was significant in one way. She showed that the tribal people had the capacity to protest against injustice and express their anger against colonial rule. Her son, Neltrama, who was also in prison along with her, took home her remains and lived and aspired to the legacy of our freedom struggle. Thank you.